E-bikers are often on journeys, often long ones. It's not as tiring and more enjoyable, so the last thing you want is having your bottom feel like you left the house without a treatment of preparation age. In this video, I'm going to talk about e-bike seats, which to choose and why. I have 2 bike roos, 2 giddy-ups, and a Cloud9. Which should you buy? And that depends. It's like asking which is my favorite kid. The one that passes the DNA test. I'll go over the riding experience a little bit later. For now, I'll give you a rundown of the products. All of them use some sort of fake leather. These biker-roos and this giddy-up has a somewhat of a shiny feel. However, they feel differently. This giddy-up has a matte black finish, and same with the Cloud9. The matte black finish, I prefer the look. There are subtle differences with each of the brands if you look closely. The Cloud9 is a little bit longer than the biker-roo. However, when it comes to like the rear padding, they are very similar. I believe this is 9.5, this is 10. It makes very little difference that way, but the length, yes, this does make a difference. The seats that are longer feel like you're on a little bit more stable setting, and at the same time, it takes a little bit more work to get onto them. When it comes to the actual padding material, this one uses a memory foam. It looks very soft, but keep in mind that your whole body weight is on this, so you don't want it this soft. You want it a little bit firmer. Another thing is that it's hard to tell how thick the padding is. When you look at the seat itself, it looks like, okay, maybe it's really thick, but when it turns out, it actually indents inwards, and you can measure it with your finger. This one feels like it's 1.5 inches. However, when you get to maybe this giddy-up, this one feels quite a bit thicker when you're measuring it like this way. It feels like it's a full 2 inches. The same thing can be said about the Cloud9. This one is very thick, and on top of that, let's talk about the weight. Biker-roo memory foam is 2 pounds and 6 ounces. Giddy-up basic is 1 pound and 10 ounces. The biker-roo with steel coil is 2 pounds and 9 ounces. The Cloud9 comes in at 3 pounds and 9 ounces. The Giddy-up XL. This one comes in at 1 pound and 14 ounces. Let's go over the riding experience and pros and cons of each bike, starting with the biker-roo. I can say that this one is moderately weighted. It is very comfortable, and it's rather inexpensive. It has 2 cons. It can be a little bit noisy, and that is annoying. And it can be a little bit slippery. This material is just not like the others. Overall, it's a great seat and a great value. Next up is the very basic giddy-up. And starting with the pros, despite looking like it wouldn't do much, this thing is very comfortable. It's right up there with the biker-roo. Another pro is that it's lightweight, so it won't weigh you down. It has this rear light, which is very convenient to have, and it looks very normal. You're not going to be that outcast stepchild. This thing does the job. Next up is the biker-roo memory foam. When you first sit on this, it does feel comfortable. It's nice, wide, and it has this airflow that keeps you cool if that's your thing. It's somewhat lightweight, and lastly, it is inexpensive. The drawbacks. This material, like this other biker-roo, it can get a little bit slippery. You can shift around in your seat when you're riding. Another downside is that because this is a very soft memory foam, you can bottom out. Like, this thing can compress all the way till it can't compress anymore, and it just feels like a hard pad rather than a soft cushioned seat. Overall, if you're going on very smooth terrain and not expecting any sort of bumps, this one will do the job, and it's very inexpensive. Next up is this giddy-up. Starting with the pros, It does have a good amount of cushion and it is comfortable. It's nice, wide, and it's long. The rear lights up, and not only that, it has a micro USB charger, so you don't have to replace the batteries. It's lightweight and it's bold. Downside, it's bold and it's big. This thing physically takes up a lot of space. You might not want to be that guy that stands out. Overall, if this is your thing, it is comfortable and you might enjoy it. Next up is the Cloud 9. What has it got going for it? Well, it's wide and it has thick foam. It is extremely comfortable. These vents, they might do some cooling. I'm not sure. I'm cold all the time because I'm married. Other than that, I do like the look of this. It is aesthetically appealing. Drawbacks of the Cloud 9 is the weight. It's undeniable. You can feel it. If you have a small bike, you can feel it more. You have a large bike, yes, you can still feel it. It is what it is. If you want the max comfort, then the Cloud 9 it is. So ultimately, when you're looking for one of these comfort seats, you just want something that has very firm feel to it. It's thick as you can possibly get. It's wide as you're willing to go. And you want it kind of long. More of your bottom ends up on the seat and there's better distribution. So which seat am I going to go with on my personal bike? It's going to have to be the Giddy Up Basic. And the reason for that is that comfort is right up there with the Cloud 9. I like having the safety light and I do like the aesthetic appeal of the seat. It's very basic and unassuming, and it does the job very well. Like I mentioned earlier about the batteries, they are button 2032 batteries and they have died on my bike. That is annoying. If you're looking for purely comfort, it's gotta be between these, and I would say the Cloud 9 is even better than this large seat. This large seat, you know, the pads on the side, they can wobble a little bit. It doesn't have any hard backing. So that's what I would say doesn't make it quite on the level of the Cloud 9. The bike roos, they're great value. I'd say the one with the spring is clearly a notch above this memory foam, and I would highly recommend this one instead of this one. This thing squeaks and that is annoying. It's the only one out of all of the seats that makes any noises. And that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, subscribe, share. See you on the next one. Take care.